On January 2, 1963, the Battle of Ap Bac occurred in the Dinh Thuong province of South Vietnam. The 7th Division of the Army of the Republic of Vietnam, or ARVN, which was the military force of South Vietnam under the leadership of General Nguyen Van Cao and American advisor Lieutenant Colonel John Paul Vann, engaged the 261st Main Force Battalion of the National Liberation Front, or NLF, the insurgent arm of North Vietnam. The battle represented the first major confrontation between ARVN forces and the NLF during the Vietnam War.
Our planes have found many radio transmitters of the North Vietnamese in Than Toi. Therefore, we're going to attack them. This should be an easy victory. We're going to send in ARVN, some paramilitary fighters, to go in and fight on the ground. We're also going to send in, and they'll be coming in from the south. We're going to send in helicopters coming from the north, and we'll also send in tanks coming from the west. We should be able to beat them, and this should give the ARVN army, the South Vietnamese army, some confidence.
Yes, we the Vietnamese will join you, and we want to prove ourselves to keep receiving funding from the Americans.
The NLF was able to administer significant damage to the Civil Guard due to the fact that the helicopter attack from the north was delayed by the weather. When the South Vietnamese battalion was finally able to land, it too was assaulted by the NLF.
Automatic fire, heavy, no chance for the infantry to move. Their uniforms blackened by fire and mud, the young men of South Vietnam are paying a high price this morning for their right to be left in peace.
The United States and South Vietnam quickly realized that it needed to shift its forces in order to stretch out the NLF. Vann decided to land reserve troops on the western edge of Ap Bac. This proved to be a dangerous decision. As the first wave of reinforcements arrived, they were immediately engaged by the NLF soldiers, who were not expected to have an extensive foothold in the area. The NLF shot down 5 American helicopters and decimated dozens of ARVN soldiers.
There aren't 120 North Vietnamese fighters. There's around 400 of them. The helicopters and others are late showing up. We need more backup, and we need it now.
Called for an immediate second aerial landing of reinforcements, but it never arrived on time. The mechanized division did, however, reach Ap Bac by the afternoon. The M113s were able to recover a number of soldiers, both South Vietnamese troops and American pilots, but the division also was punished by unrelenting NLF soldiers. Vann petitioned General Cao to alter the battle plan and surround the NLF. Cao refused, citing his belief that the ARVN firepower could force an NLF retreat, then he could crush the enemy in the open field. The assault continued at Ap Bac. Both sides had taken heavy casualties for what was supposed to be a simple sweep and clear. By nightfall, soldiers of the NLF were directed to retreat under the cover of darkness after successfully holding their ground against a superior rival. Overall, the ARVN tallied roughly 80 soldiers lost and 100 injured. The United States suffered 3 dead and several wounded. While the NLF successfully defeated the joint American ARVN operation, it suffered losses exceeding 100, although there has yet to be an official count.
I'm General Paul Harkins, and I say that the Battle of Ap Bac was a complete success for the Americans and the South Vietnamese. The North Vietnamese were retreating at the end of the battle, and they lost more people. That was an unmitigated disaster. We lost bad, and you know why? Because the Vietnamese leaders are incompetent. They don't know what they're doing.
Likewise, media representatives, including journalists David Halberstam and Neil Sheehan, reported to the American press that the skirmish was a major setback for United States initiatives in the Vietnam War. They even published images from the field of battle, including crippled American helicopters and armored vehicles. The American public, for the first time, received a glimpse of what was transpiring in Vietnam outside of the positive reports stemming from political and military leaders headquartered in Washington, D.C.